The US dollar has been the most powerful currency in the world for nearly a century. It's the backbone of global trade, the reserve currency for central banks, and the ultimate symbol of American power. But today, something is changing. Around the world, countries are quietly reducing their reliance on the dollar and buying more and more gold instead. From China and Russia to the BRICS nations, this shift is raising one big question: is the dollar dying? In this video, we'll explore why countries are dumping the US dollar for gold, what it means for the global economy, and whether we're witnessing the beginning of a new financial order.
To understand what's happening today, we need to understand how the dollar became king. After World War II, the US emerged as the dominant superpower. In 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement made the dollar the world's reserve currency, backed by gold. For decades, nations trusted the dollar because it was as good as gold. But in 1971, President Nixon ended the gold standard. From that point on, the dollar was no longer tied to gold. It became fiat money, backed only by trust in the US government. Even without gold backing, the dollar remained supreme. Oil was priced in dollars, trade was settled in dollars, and about 60% of the world's reserves stayed in dollars. For nearly a century, the dollar's dominance has been the foundation of global finance.
But cracks are starting to appear. The US has printed trillions of dollars in the past decade, increasing national debt to historic levels. Inflation has weakened the dollar's purchasing power, and the use of the dollar as a political weapon through sanctions has made other countries nervous. Russia, for example, turned to gold after being cut off from the global dollar system. China has been steadily reducing its dollar holdings while increasing its gold reserves. Even US allies are questioning whether it's wise to depend so heavily on the dollar. The truth is, when too much power is concentrated in one currency, the rest of the world starts looking for alternatives. And increasingly, that alternative is gold. Why are countries turning back to gold? The first reason is trust. Gold has no counterparty risk. Unlike bonds or currencies, gold doesn't depend on anyone else's promise to pay. The second reason is stability. Gold has held value for thousands of years through wars, crises, and currency collapses. While the dollar can be printed endlessly, gold's supply is finite. The third reason is independence. Gold isn't controlled by any one nation. By holding gold, countries can reduce their dependence on the US and protect themselves from sanctions or political pressure. In simple terms, gold is power. It's the one asset every nation can agree on, and that's why central banks are buying it at record levels.
One of the biggest challenges to the dollar's dominance is coming from the BRICS nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Together, these countries represent a huge share of the global economy, and they've been openly discussing ways to reduce their dependence on the dollar. Some even suggest the creation of a BRICS currency backed by gold or commodities. While such a currency may still be years away, the message is clear. The world is moving toward a multipolar financial system. Instead of one currency ruling everything, countries are diversifying their reserves, and gold is at the center of that strategy. What would happen if the dollar loses its dominance? First, America would lose one of its greatest advantages: the ability to borrow cheaply and print money without fear of collapse. Inflation could rise, interest rates could climb, and US debt would become much harder to manage. Second, global trade would become more fragmented, some transactions in dollars, some in yuan, some in gold. This could create volatility and uncertainty. Third, gold prices could surge even higher. As more countries dump dollars and buy gold, demand would push the metal to levels we've never seen before. In many ways, the death of dollar dominance could mean the rebirth of gold as the ultimate global currency.
Does this mean the dollar is doomed? Not necessarily. The US still has the largest economy, the deepest financial markets, and military power to protect its currency. But the trend is clear. The dollar's dominance is being challenged like never before. The future of money may not be about one currency replacing another. It may be about diversification, a world where the dollar, the yuan, and gold all play roles in global finance. And in that future, gold isn't just an ancient relic, it's the bridge between old money and new power. So is the dollar dying? The truth is, the dollar isn't disappearing tomorrow, but the shift is happening, slowly, quietly, and unmistakably. Countries are dumping dollars and buying gold for one reason: protection. Gold is trust. Gold is power. And when central banks move, it pays to pay attention. What do you think? Is the dollar's reign ending, or will it adapt and survive? Comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos on finance, wealth, and the psychology of money.